What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a weekly gaming news show, the podcast where two very seasoned console gamers talk about the weekly news and you guys get to get our opinions on it. We like to bring up these topics and then discuss them, and then we also like to get your feedback. So if you're watching us live, make sure to ask us questions in the chat using the hashtag AskAWGNS. You can ask us questions during the live session, and we'll answer them in our live Q&A. Or if you're watching this the day that it goes live everywhere else, we can also take those questions to use them for further sections, like for the weekly icebreaker or for another Q&A at a different time. But before we get everything started, I do want to ask my gracious host here, Todd. How was your weekend, man? How's everything been going?
It was busy. I mean, I was yesterday. I think I probably drove 100 miles back and forth.
Oh man!
just in this area. I mean, she had Girl Scout, two Girl Scout events and math event.
Oh man!
The other day. So yeah, yesterday I just was driving up and down the road all day. But today I got a chance to relax, so I'm kind of recharged. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I've just been busy mashing out combos in Dragon Ball Fighters. That game is so much fun. And it's probably the most fun that I've had, learning how to play a fighting game in a very long time. I haven't had this much fun in a while, so definitely enjoying that. There's also Monster Hunter, which I have yet to even boot up, and I'm just waiting for O so that we can jump into that together. He's kind of gonna just guide me through that whole process, so it should be really fun. I can't wait to actually get in on that. But yeah, let us know how you guys have been doing, how you guys' week has been. We really appreciate you all for tuning in. So let's go ahead and get started with the weekly icebreaker. And if you're new to the podcast, this is the section of the show where we ask between ourselves or the panel, if we have if we have guests, we just ask a question to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming topics. And this week's question comes from Todd, and he wants to know, what is a new game out that takes you out of your normal comfort zone that you're looking forward to this year? And I can't say that I'm looking forward to any games outside of my comfort zone. I mean, right now, the only ones down the line that I'm looking forward to are Spider-Man, God of War, Anthem. Those are all games that fit the type of description of games that I play. I like action adventure games. I like third person shooters. So that's not really out of my comfort zone. But what is, and what just came out, and I just mentioned it, was Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World is definitely outside of my comfort zone. I tried it. I tried Monster Hunter Generations on the 3DS, and I just could not get into it. Mostly because it was a handheld, and I just don't. I can't find comfort playing a handheld sitting in my gamer chair at my computer or in my bed. I can't find the comfort in that. Right. And so I never really got into it. I'm hoping that I can actually get into this game because apparently a lot of people love it and the gameplay is awesome. I did play the beta, and it plays great. So I'm hoping that I have a good time with that. What about you? Anything that you are playing or looking forward to that takes you out of your comfort zone?
Well, two. One is Dragon Ball FighterZ. I haven't been in fighters in a long time, so I'm looking forward to try that. I haven't tried that quite yet, but I will be on Dragon Ball FighterZ when I do get a chance to.
Okay.
And then the other one is the same thing. Monster Hunter. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, and I know there's been a lot of hype. I've actually watched a couple of streamers play it, and I can see their disappointment and confusion in what they're getting themselves into. I kind of know what Monster Hunter is. I know what I'm getting into, and I hadn't played a Monster Hunter before because what it wasn't interesting to me.
Right.
But I'm trying this one out. I did start. I just finished the prologue, and I got my first hunt to go on. Okay. And I haven't done that quite yet. I'll probably be doing it within the next day or so, maybe tonight even. But yeah, those two games are a bit outside of what I normally play. I'm normally a first-person shooter guy. I like the action RPGs, or when you look at stuff like Mass Effect and right. Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, and those are the type of games I'm into. So yeah, Monster Hunter is something I normally wouldn't mess with, but all of the hype surrounding it looks pretty good as far as graphic wise, and it's something just try something. You might like
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, no, I'm the reason the main reason why I'm getting into it is because is getting it. He's a avid Monster Hunter lover, so he definitely is going to be playing the game. So I figured, you know what, he's gonna get it. I'm gonna get the game just so that me and him have something to play together.
Right.
So that's the reason why I'm getting it. But hopefully it works out. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's actually a gift from my girlfriend because
Nice.
there wasn't going to be any way that I could get 2 games in the same month, let alone the same day. Okay, and I had already pre-ordered my Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I ain't got the funds for it, homie. But the GF, she came through it and got it for me as a surprise gift. So that was cool.
And you're on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, I'm on PlayStation for both games.
Can you play now? Because I know PlayStation's been having some network connectivity issues.
Yo, I got on. I think it was yesterday, and I was trying to play some ranked matches, and it was like, yeah, PlayStation Network is down.
Mm-hmm.
GG's, and it's like you can't do anything on Dragon Ball Fighters without the network because you have to connect to a lobby.
That's how most games are, and it's funny. And we've talked about this before. This is what Microsoft was pitching and got cremated for. But every game out there now,
everybody's doing it.
Destiny and Monster Hunter even and because I lost connection on Monster Hunter because I know why. I paused the game for too long. I went to the home screen and walked away. When I came back, it says no connection. You can't do anything until you go talk to this person and reconnect.
Wow.
So
so it's like for inactivity, you just got booted from the server. So reconnect to the server, then you can play more.
Then you can play some more. Pretty much is what it was. It's like you can do training. That's it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's where all the games are. Pretty much every game you're playing. When you look at everything, Call of Duties and Destinies and even like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and all of those games, they use persistent internet connections.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. Before we get into our quick hits, we do have an update from a previous story that we covered here. So, Boogie, why don't we go ahead and get that out of the way?
Okay, so we've been following this story, and we promised we would keep following this story until we have a full conclusion on it. This is the swatting incident that happened the week after Christmas in Wichita, where these 2 knuckleheads were playing Call of Duty. One of them got butthurt, and they made a false swatting call. Essentially, they're kind of piecing together what happened. Apparently, they were on teams, and one of them got upset because he got team killed. So it sounds like they're playing like maybe hardcore search and destroy or something.
Right.
And so he kind of was complaining to him about it, talking crap, and then so the next round starts, and the guy team kills him again purposely this time.
Mm-hmm.
So they that's how this whole thing got started.
Right.
So the swatter, which was Swatistic, a gentleman by a 25-year-old by the name of Tyler Barris, was arrested in L.A. and extradited to Wichita, where he's been charged and indicted. So there's 2 other players. One of them named Shane Gaskill, who's in Wichita, and the other one, Casey Viner, who lives in Ohio. Mm-hmm. They've also been named, and it looks like the law enforcement is going to be going after those guys as well.
Yeah.
There's no notes on them being arrested or picked up as of yet, but there was conversations. They acknowledged what they did. Apparently, one of them, as seeing the news, seeing the events unfolding in the news, got on as like, well, you better delete all of these messages pertaining to this because this is serious.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously they that right there is guilt, right? Is admission of guilt. The fact that you pretty much want to destroy evidence. So
right.
They're going to get their comeuppance too. And I've said it since the beginning. Everybody that's involved should be held accountable. The person that made the call, the person that gave the false address, and whoever else instigated this particular event.
Yeah.
We already know what's going to happen to the cop. Nothing. But
well, I mean, he's been placed on administrative leave, but that's like, par for the course. I don't think that there's anything that's gonna happen to that guy. especially not in this situation.
Right. We know how that goes. I mean, they have a different set of a much different set of rules than you would think for somebody to shoot somebody else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So 2 more people are under the gun or under investigation, and hopefully they get to come up. It's extremely sad story, but it's also unnecessary. There's no reason for these people to be doing what they did.
Yeah, it was no reason for any of this to happen.
No,
not over a freaking game of Call of Duty, man. Somebody like actually lost their lives, and then it just sheds this negative light on the gaming community that already has enough issues. It's like we have enough problems. We don't need people dying over Call of Duty.
This is the stuff mainstream media picks up, right? They pick up this, and they pick up the bad reports where gaming increases violence in kids, and that's what they report on. They report on the negative. You don't see them talking about the esports league or the $1 million the international that was like $24 million. They don't talk about that because that shows gaming as something that can be actually positive. Right. They look at they want to find the worst story and they want to report on that ratings.
Yeah. So I mean, luckily and hopefully everybody that was involved, gets what's coming to them. We can only hope. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family because they're the ones that are suffering throughout all of this. Right. But like we stated before, if there's anything else that comes up with this story, we will make sure to cover it. I think that's the least that we could do. But with that, let's go ahead and move on to the quick hits. These are quick little lightning round style stories that we want to bring to you guys. Don't necessarily deserve a deep dive, but they are stories that happened this week that we think deserve your attention. And the first one is actually quite a doozy. This
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It revolves around the PlayStation 4 and how it can be hacked to play PlayStation 2 games. Right now, there is actually a video that is online right now that basically shows the process in its entirety, and it doesn't seem too hard of a process.
Right. Well, one of the things, one huge thing with this is one huge caveat is it only works for the 4.05 version of the firmware. Okay. So
if you update past that, it won't work.
Yeah, it won't work. Yeah, and I think right now, what are we on? I think it's 5 or 501. I think it is.
I'm not sure.
So I mean, and I don't know if there's a way. I haven't seen because I started looking. I haven't seen a way to roll back in the updates, but I'm sure somebody out there knows how to roll the PlayStation 4 back. But yeah, if you have anything past the 405 firmware, you're not going to be able to do this. But if you don't have the if you have the 405 firmware, basically what you do is you install Linux on your PS4 and you run the WebKit exploit, and you pop your PS2 games in and off you go.
So the games actually play off of the disc.
It looks that way.
Okay. Does it look like I'm not sure.
That. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, while we're still no. You have to use ROMs.
Right. Yeah, they're ROMs. Because he's like unlocking like a PLK or PAC file or something like that. Yeah. So those are ROMs. So
you do have to use a ROM. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the hacking and modding and emulation like community has always like they're never slowing down, and this is just proof in the pudding right here that these guys are going to want to play their games, especially their old school games, no matter what the cost. Exactly. It doesn't look like the PlayStation 4 upscales the footage or anything in any kind of way. So you're getting like you're getting like raw 480 footage on your on your PlayStation 4. I mean, which doesn't look necessarily terrible. There's actually some pretty stellar looking games on the PS2, but this is just proof to show you.
I mean, people want to play their games, and when the companies stop supporting them, they'll find a way to do it themselves.
Oh yeah, they'll always find a way. I'll be very I don't know. I was surprised that this video was still up. Like, Sony didn't put out like a copyright strike or something on the video, because it's, showing how to essentially play free games on PlayStation.
Yeah, but can they, if they're not using any PlayStation assets? I guess they could, but
I'm not sure.
Using that DMCA Act, right?
Yeah.
I guess there's something in there for them to do, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're into that, I mean, I know that I'm not gonna lie, I definitely emulated my fair share of games back in the day, but I've always strived, nowadays to purchase the games that I want to purchase, and just leave out any that I don't.
Right.
But hey, I mean, if you want to hack your PS4 and risk bricking it, go ahead. It's all up to you. Let's go ahead and move on to the next.
The next story we have is about Twitch, and they got a $1.3 million judgment against ViewBot makers. So back in 2016, they took legal action against these developers that were making ViewBots. And if you're a streamer, you know what a ViewBot is,
right?
And judge on the 22nd, the Californian judge ordered the bot makers, specifically Michael and Catherine and Jomi, to shut down their software and pay Twitch $1.371 million, where $55,000 of the sum is for damages, and the other $1.316 million is for the profits they made selling these ViewBots. So they made $1.3 million selling ViewBots. And I can see where this is a problem for Twitch, because as streamers are getting boosted and they're getting the partner program, and they're making earnings that they're earning money that they may not have earned fairly.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing. I can't really say anything bad about this. I mean, purchasing, and like, this thing is not uncommon. Like, you can purchase views or likes or comments on just about any platform, and it's a pretty bad thing. I mean, I remember back in the day, what YouTube used to do was, like, every like month or so, they would just go through your subs, if any of them were like fake accounts, you would just lose that subscription.
Oh wow!
They would just strip it out of your subscription numbers, but because there's tons of just like either inactive or fake accounts or whatever out there, and people just use those accounts to just boost their numbers. And this was like back in the day, but now it's almost like a legitimate business where you have websites that will advertise that for a certain amount of money you can have this many like active followers or viewers, like people talking in your chat and all types of stuff.
That's a problem all across. Yeah. That's a problem on social networks too. When you look at Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, even the bot follows. So that's a huge problem with all of these services, especially when you get monetized by the number of people that are actually following you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this is gonna cause like a huge dent in this, because this thing is like everywhere. I don't think that this is going to deter other bot makers from doing what they need to do.
Well, it sets a precedent for these platforms to go after these bot makers, legally go after these bot makers, because again, it is damaging to the companies, because the companies are paying out based on false information.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like somebody boosting, like a stock trader boosting stock using false information.
True. Yeah. So I mean, good on Twitch for pursuing the lawsuit. Congratulations to them for winning. But I honestly don't think the view bots are going anywhere anytime soon, which is unfortunate.
It's going to be around. It's going to be around indefinitely. It's the same thing. Here's another one of my analogies. It's just like performance enhancing drugs in sports. True. They figure out how to test and catch people using steroids, and they move on to human growth hormone, and then they figure that out and they move on to the next thing. And it's going to be the same thing here. It's an arms race.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, what's the next story? What we got?
The next thing up is this is out of EA and ESPN and Disney.
Oh, what?
So
It's a lot of big names.
Yeah. So
we name dropping.
Yeah. ESPN and Disney have announced a deal with the NFL and Madden to broadcast Madden 18 esports league. There's going to be some tournaments. There's actually a show that's going to air on ESPN News, started in, I believe, March. Started in March is the show. Starting on February 2nd, Disney XD and ESPN On Demand will have the Madden NFL 18 Ultimate League regular season, 16 players in one-on-one competitions. It's weekly. It's an hour-long episode, and then the championship is on April 28th. And then there's also going to be half-hour episodes for the Ultimate League players. So it's going to be basically an expose on the players that's participating in the league. You know what they do to prepare, basically a day in the life.
Right. Yeah, they did the same thing for the Street Fighter E League. That was I think I don't remember what network that was playing on, but yeah, they did something very similar. It was pretty cool. I kind of just wanted to see the fights, but whatever. Right. Yeah, I mean, with all the news that's going out, that's been out, surrounding EA, if there's anything that is a constant for EA, it's Madden. Madden has always been a constant. I mean, not only because they own, primarily because they own the exclusive rights to the NFL, so they are the only NFL video game that's able to, be produced nowadays. But Madden has always been a constant, and the Madden E League, while not as prominent, because I feel like it's been a thing even before this rise in esports. But they've had like Madden competitions for forever. It's always been Madden tournaments, and what's funny is you worked at GameStop, right? They used to have like regionals and super regionals in the GameStops. Yeah, I remember. Madden, you have the Madden tournament. They still do it. My brother actually, I think he did. It was I think it was 16 when he competed. Okay. He didn't make it out of the town. I think he came in second. He lost in the finals. Man, that's tight. But yeah, you go to GameStop, you compete, you win at the GameStop, you move up to the next step until you reach the super regionals and then eventually the national for the championship. That's dope. And they've been airing those matches on ESPN. I want to say since 14. I think 14 to 15 is when they aired the first championship match. But yeah, that's been a thing, and it seems like they're just expanding it with more content. So now they have a full league, a 16-team league, to culminate in the championship in April. Yeah, so that's cool. We were just talking about how esports could be broadcast on Disney XD. Remember, I mentioned that how I mentioned that. I think it was Overwatch. I was like, yo, they could probably show that on Disney XD or something. Right. Now here we are. Disney XD is going to be hosting Madden esports events. That's actually pretty cool. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I wouldn't really know what's going on Disney XD, but I mean, it's a channel geared towards I can tell you it's old. It's preteen, say it's maybe 10 to 14-year-olds. Yeah, something is around there. I know because my daughter watches XD a lot. they have the movies. I think what's it called? The Descendants 2 or something. Okay, I know they show that on there a couple of times, and she watches that. So yeah, that's actually a good age group for Madden because it's a video game. When you mentioned it last time about Overwatch, I couldn't see it because Overwatch is violent. And XD, True. The XD channel doesn't deal with a lot of the content has very, very little, if any, violence at all. I know they do have the superhero shows on there, the Marvel Avengers and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking more of the cartoony nature of it. Right? But there's no gun, no shooting stuff. It's all it's always hand-to-hand combat, explosions. Just missed every time. That's a question. That's a long form for another time. What the hell happened to action cartoons? We're going to need to talk about that one day. We have to go off the cuff one of these days. Yeah. But super interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll tune into one of the events just to see see what it's like. Yeah. See what it's like and see how it's geared towards that audience. It might be interesting to see. But we have one more quick hit for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into that one. This one we've got. This is our favorite game to be disappointed in. This is about 4 For Honor. For Honor is launching Season 5.
And to be quite honest, it's not huge news if you think about it. I mean, everybody launches a new season. What's big about season 5 in For Honor is that they're launching it with dedicated servers. So they
something we've been asking for quite some time.
Yeah, they're getting rid of that janky peer-to-peer because they had some kind of they didn't even have a true peer-to-peer connection. It was some kind of hybrid connection, and it was atrocious. If one person lagged out of your game, the whole match would quit. And not only would you get booted out of the match, if you were partied up, you would get booted out of the party to the point where sometimes you would have to restart the entire game to get your internet connection back, to get your connection to For Honor back. So it was an awful experience. So they're fixing that. They're also adding some hero balances to the cheesiest characters. The Highlander, Nobushi, Berserker, Kensei, the ones that just do spam the light attacks and you can never get past them. Yeah, those guys. They're making some updates to them. And then they're also going to make some changes to how the game plays in general. So I'll be interested to see what they do. After season 5 comes out, I might give it a shot just to see how.
I feel like after every huge update, I like to give it a shot just to see if I can get in and actually play it.
Right. I'm interested, definitely the connectivity, the dedicated servers and connectivity, but I'm also interested to see what they do with these spam characters. Because the last time I played, I think we played. Maybe you played with me. I don't remember. But
I played with what's her name? The quick one, the assassin chick.
Yeah. But
they nerfed the hell out of her.
The last time I played, I got in a match and it was 2 Kenseis, and 2 Berserkers. And all I saw was with them swinging the same sword infinitely. It's ridiculous. So I want to see if the changes they make puts a kibosh on that, because it makes it for. I've talked about this. I'm really disappointed in this game. I had such high hopes for the game.
Yeah.
And it's an utter mess. And it should be much better than what it is. Even with people. I know people are horrible. And they're gonna
like to break stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna ruin stuff, but the speed and effectiveness in which they totally destroy this game is unheard of.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that. I mean, I'm in a really good place right now as far as Dragon Ball FighterZ is concerned, but I'm seeing some combos online that should not exist, man. I'm like, how is this possible? What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know. You have to. I feel like when you're developing a game, you have to take into account that people are going to do everything in their power to break your system or whatever, because because For Honor is essentially a fighting game. Mm-hmm. And in any fighting game, you have to account for things like infinites. You have to account for things like spamming, stuff like that. Right. And there's usually systems put into place where it limits how many times you can do a certain thing, so that it can't be overused. It can't be too powerful.
And I think that's what they tried to do with that stamina system, but it's just the way they applied it to light attacks. It just didn't work.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, we'll do our annual For Honor checkup stream, where we get online and get wrecked with everybody. So that'll be fun.
And then say we'll never play it again.
Exactly. Yeah. Then we'll instantly retire.
The update is called Age of Wolves and is dropping on February 15th.
Okay. Didn't you have the season pass for that game too?
I do have the season pass for that game.
Damn.
I haven't touched it since.
I think it was minute.
Summer. It's gotta be at least summer. Maybe
it's been a minute since I played that. So we'll see what happens. Let us know what you guys think. If you're a fan of For Honor, let us know what have some of the more recent changes besides this one. Has the game held up? I haven't heard anything about it in quite some time, so I'm just curious as to what others think about it. But whether it's this story or the first one that we cover here in the quick hits, let us know what you guys are thinking. Leave your comments down in the comment section down below. With that, we're going to move on to the next segment, which is the top 5 news stories for this week. But before we do that, I do want to mention that we are collecting your questions in the live chat. So if you are watching us live, make sure that you put your questions in the chat using the hashtag AskAWGNS. We will answer those in our Q&A section later on in the podcast. And I also do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the New Challengers. If you want to get good at Dragon Ball FighterZ or any fighting game that's currently out, and with the addition of other fighting games coming in the very near future, go to newchallenger.gg, sign up for the Discord, and start getting familiar with some of the people in all of the different Discord channels. They are currently holding one-on-one and group coaching sessions. They have fight nights, they have tournaments with actual prizes. So if you want to get good and put yourself in a competitive scene, go to newchallenger.gg and let them know that True Sonic sent you. It's a robust group of people, fighting game enthusiasts that only want to, increase the value of, your fighting game prowess. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say here, but let me end this promo. What's it called? Newchallenger.gg. Shout out to Mr. Vinegar, and as always, shout out to Mount Lover, who's a friend of the podcast and is also a coach, moderator, and commentator for the tournaments over on the Discord channel. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast. And with that, we can move on to the top 5 news stories. So first up, we have a story. We have a few stories coming out of Microsoft, and this is my favorite story. I love doing this every week. Every month we get to talk about the games for gold, and this month I'm actually pretty hyped, my boy. We officially have some bangers on the games for gold this month. And we're just going to go down the list here and talk about some of these games really quickly. First up on the Xbox One side is Shadow Warrior, which is a pretty awesome game. It's a first-person action game, but instead of mostly dealing with guns, you deal with swordplay. Yeah. So it's really cool in that regard. Second up on the Xbox One is Assassin's Creed Chronicles. Was that the India version?
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Chronicles India.
Yeah, this was a collection of 2D or 2.5D action adventure games that came out in between the main series.
Right. Go ahead. It's more of a platformer than this typical Assassin's Creed games.
Right. Yeah, but they're pretty cool. I played the Chronicles China. I haven't beaten it, but I did start playing that one. They're pretty cool, and I do like hearing about the other assassins like across the world. Right. I've been trying to get more into the lore of Assassin's Creed. So keeping up with those stories is actually really cool. And then on the 360 side, my boy, we have some bangers. First up on the 360 side, we have one of my favorite games, freaking Split Second. And if you have never played Split Second, you are missing out, my boy, because it is a masterpiece. It is a racing game that puts you in the eyes of like a stunt driver. And you're racing around these freaking tracks and stuff is like falling on you. And you could trigger events. So like, let's say there's a helicopter that's flying around. If you get enough like drift momentum and stuff like that, increase your gauge, you can set off an event and you can have that helicopter crash into like a fuel tanker, cause a massive explosion that will take out some of the competition for you.
Right.
It is a fantastic racing game. And go ahead.
I like its take on racing. It adds a different type of
right.
What it adds to the gameplay is it makes it it makes it fun. It makes it super fun.
And if this thing is still online, because I have this game, I have the disc. Yes, I have the disc. It's in my house. I can pop it into my 360 anytime I want to. But now I can put the disc in my Xbox One because it'll be backwards compatible. Right. And this is actually really interesting because this was the last game of the studio that made it, BlackRock Studio. So this was their last game, and this was during the time where I was getting like, because I'm into like arcadey, like, you know, kart racing games like Mario Kart, stuff like that. I was getting fatigued at this point, and this game like just showed me like how much I really like arcade style racers like Burnout and stuff like that. So if you like those games in any capacity, you should definitely download this. And then the final game on the 360 side as well is a Sega classic, Sega Dreamcast classic arcade game, and a Crazy Taxi. I mean, what can I say about Crazy Taxi that hasn't already been said? Right. I mean, it's an arcade game. You pick up passengers, take them where you need to go, in order to get a high score.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Was it?
Yeah. What?
Was it a Dreamcast? Was it a launch game? I know I had this on Dreamcast.
I don't know
if it's a launch game or not.
I'm not sure if it was a launch game, but it's definitely like like an all-star like game.
Oh yeah,
it's
a top.
It's been re-released, multiple times, and I believe this is the Xbox 360 arcade version that they released. Version. Yep. So they did change some of the music. They couldn't get the rights to all the original music, right. So some of the music has changed. And what was really cool about this game is that it had a lot of like brands and like locations from the real world. Like, oh, take me to Domino's Pizza and stuff like that. They most likely took a lot of that. I haven't downloaded the original, so this will be my chance to actually get my hands on this game again. I still have it on the Dreamcast though.
Do you really?
Dude,
nice.
Crazy Taxi was my jam, dude. I love that game.
I put a lot of time in that Crazy Taxi. I mean, the Dreamcast, I'm pour out a little for this.
Yeah, pour out a little for the Dreamcast, man. Dreamcast had some hits, man. Yeah. So I'm really happy about this month's Games for Gold. What about you?
Yeah. I'm split second. I played that game. I played it off of I want to say Redbox. I rented it. I didn't buy it. But I rented it. I did enjoy it. The time I had with that, I played it a lot. I liked it. So I'm definitely getting that. Shadow Warrior, I was always interested in trying. So this gives me a chance to try it. The Chronicles games, I played a couple of them. I like you said, I like the extension of the lore. Mm-hmm. So I would get this and play that. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, for better or for worse. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. And then, like you said, Crazy Taxi. I actually have the iOS version on my phone and my tablet.
Oh, yeah. I mess around with iOS.
Yeah, I mess around with a bit. So, yeah, it'd be nice for me to go ahead and get it on the Xbox, and I'll play it. I'll definitely play it. I'll probably get my little girl in here and playing on it as well.
That's so freaking cool. Oh, that's so cool. But, yeah, four very awesome games. Of course, the first games are available from the beginning to the middle of the month, and then the second ones are available from the middle to the end of the month. So go ahead and get some free games. You do need a active Xbox Live Gold account in order to download them. But the cool thing is, if your account expires, those games are still yours.
Yours to keep, yep.
Yours to keep. And we have more Microsoft news. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
So Microsoft is going full court press with Mixer. They are now going to help streamers monetize. They're going to allow streamers to sell games, or let me take that back. You will be able to buy the game, or DLC that a streamer is playing, and a streamer will get a cut of that sale. So if the streamer is playing PUBG and you're like, look, this game is awesome, I want to buy it, you can just click straight from the streamer's stream. They take you into the Microsoft store and let you buy PUBG, and they get a cut of that sale, which is, they didn't specify how much, but any is better than none.
Right.
So that's cool. And then they're also allowing you to tip the streamers directly in the Mixer, in the app. So the streamers no longer have to set up third-party wallets or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Just tip them straight from straight in the app, or wherever you're watching whatever you're using Mixer on. And they get that money. Again, I'm sure Microsoft or Mixer is taking a cut. Is unclear of what that cut will be, but I mean it's the same thing with everybody. Anytime you use any of these services, they all charge transaction fees.
Right.
But they're just trying to streamline it for everybody. So if you're watching your favorite streamer, you don't have to worry about going to a third party to give them a tip, or if you want to buy the game, you don't have to jump through hoops to get the game. I like the tip option because it's safer. I feel more comfortable paying through Microsoft than I would be paying through some third-party app set up somewhere offsite. So,
no, that makes a lot of sense. My question is this only for the partnered Mixer streamers, or is this like everybody across the board? Because as of right now, only affiliates and partners can.
It's partners, yeah.
On Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, Mixer partners playing the game. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so first go ahead, get partner, my boy.
Yeah, so it's the partner is for, you have to be a partner if you're getting cut for the game sales, but anybody can get tipped.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It doesn't say that it doesn't limit that to partners. At least in the article I've read and everything else I've read, it didn't specify that you had to be a partner to get tips.
Okay.
But you have to be a partner to get the cut of the game sales.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, these are all features that Twitch already has implemented for both their partners and affiliates. So they're a little bit behind on that front, but Mixer is becoming a pretty solid alternative to Twitch. I mean, there's a lot of streamers on there, a lot of content being streamed, and they have like their own like events and esports leagues and everything's been going on over there. So a great alternative to Twitch. And it seems like it's just growing, just constantly growing.
They're definitely pushing it. And what the thing that Mixer has over Twitch is how deeply integrated it is in
Xbox. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, when you go on Xbox, I mean, it's just press menu, start streaming. It's right there in front of you. It's not much else you really need to do. Now, if you're a professional, obviously you have your stuff set up, but I mean, it's really accessible for anybody to really get in and stream whatever they want to stream. And and you've talked about this too. You like the multi-view stream.
The multi-view stream and the zero latency that they have on Mixer is probably like, and I've been streaming on Twitch, for quite some time. So I'm used to like a 15 to 30 second delay between what I'm doing and what my audience is seeing. But on Mixer, and Twitch has been getting better, but on Mixer, it's like damn near instant, man.
Yeah.
And the way that the multi-streaming works, where everything is just like synchronized,
right?
It's mind blowing.
The timing is perfectly is perfect. It's
perfectly in sync, and that's really hard to do when you have to do it on your own. I remember trying to multi-stream back in the day with my good friend Mount Lover, and having to I had to go into OBS and manually delay my video feed so that it would sync up with his, but then at the same time I would have to delay my audio so that it synced up with my video. It was a mess.
A lot, right?
I'm glad that I've gotten past that point in my freaking online career. That was a mess. I hated it. We've come a long way. But good on Mixer. I mean, this is just cool little features, but we do have one more story with Microsoft. Let's jump into that real quick.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty big story too. This one is regarding Microsoft's Game Pass. If you're unfamiliar with Microsoft's Game Pass, it's a monthly subscription service that allows you to get games. You download them, play them, and as much as you want for $10 a month. So Phil Spencer has announced that starting with Sea of Thieves, all Microsoft Studio produced first-party titles will be available on the Game Pass service day of release. Day one,
boys.
So if you're looking at so he specifically announced Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2 will be in this particular program. So when Sea of Thieves comes out, it will be available day one on Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. When Crackdown 3 finally comes out, if it's not delayed anymore, that will be on the Game Pass, as well as State of Decay 2. And there's tons of titles on there. They just added Halo Wars 2 a couple of months. I think they added that in December, or they might have just added it this month.
Yeah, and that's not an old game.
No, it just came out last year. So I mean, they did add that, and he also mentioned that future exclusive franchises, and he listed the big ones: Halo, Forza, Gears of War will also be included in this. So for $10 a month right now, you can get Sea of Thieves, and State of Decay, and you're thinking, well, $10 a month, that's $120 a year. But if you buy Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, and State of Decay 2, that's $180. So you just saved yourself $60. And on top of that,
I'm thinking when Sea of Thieves comes around, I'm gonna get Microsoft X Pass.
I've already made that determination. I'm going to get it right around the time Sea of Thieves comes out. And they
$10 for a brand new game. You can't beat that.
They do have good titles on there. They have the entire Gear series on there, all the Halos on there. There's 360 and Xbox One games. And of course, every 360 game is playable on your Xbox One. So I mean,
I remember they made a statement last year where original Xbox games are going to be coming back. Is that going to be on Games Pass, or were they just talking about in general?
Well, they said they're going to make. My assumption is eventually they will find their way on Game Pass. They just announced a few games that were going to be backwards compatible on Xbox One, a few original Xbox games. But I haven't checked. I checked when they had made this announcement. I didn't see any original Xbox. I just wanted to see what was on there.
Right.
I didn't see any original Xbox games, OG Xbox games. But I would think that if they're putting the trouble, time, and effort into getting those games backwards compatible, they're gonna throw them on. They're gonna throw them on Game Pass.
Yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing with Game Pass for me is that I've been playing Xbox games for a very long time. So most of the lineup I either own or have owned and don't really have any desire to replay. With them bringing out brand new titles,
that makes
that changes the game because
that's huge. That is huge because I mean, when you look at what PlayStation now is, they have all old games. They just started, I think, last year adding PlayStation 4 games, and that was seemingly, in my opinion, a response to what Xbox or Microsoft released with the Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
But even then, those games are streamed. You got to have a good, fast connection. If you don't have a great connection, your game you're not going to have a good experience.
Right.
And this is just
deleting saves and all types of craziness.
Yeah, this is, you download the game. It's just as if you bought the game. You download it, you play it. The only thing is, you can play the game as long as it's on the Game Pass. If they strip the game off of Game Pass, you do lose access. If you cancel your service, you will lose access to the game. So that's two things you want to take a look at. But Microsoft has been pretty good giving at least 60-day notice when they're going to pull a game from the service.
Right.
So
they'll actually send you a message on your Xbox to tell you like, hey, these games are going away.
Right.
Message from Microsoft. I was like, dang, all right.
And typically they've been at least 60 days. I mean, they haven't had any last minute polls where. So I mean, if you're playing the game and you get a notice saying, okay, what's today? Today's the 28th. So if you get a notice saying on March 31st this game is going to be pulled off, you got plenty of time to finish it and get your enjoyment out of it. So
if you want to purchase the games, aren't they at a lower price point if you have them on Xbox Game Pass?
That's right. You do get a discount. I forget the number. I want to say it's like 20%, but
I think it's 20%.
Yeah, but you do if you have a Game Pass game and they're going to be pulling it, but you want to keep it. Maybe it's a game with a multiplayer component that you really got into. You can buy the game at a discounted price. Absolutely.
Get out of here, man. Game Pass. For new games, that's the move.
we talked about it when they first announced it, and it was the same. It was this. It's like, okay, they got a bunch of games, but I played most of all of these games, and I don't want to pay $10 a month for it. But if I'm paying $10 a month and I'm getting new release games, that's a game changer. And like we say, Microsoft's got to bring the games because right now it's only 3 new release games, right?
Right, and that's exactly what I was about to say. That they can't have made this announcement solely based on the fact that they have 3 games coming out that are going to be exclusive to Microsoft. I believe that they're coming. They're coming with the game.
They're going to be coming. I mean, and if you look at the list, I mean, Recore is in there. And Recore just came out last year, right? No, 16. It came out 16.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I would think like games like Recore would show up in there. Cuphead might show up in there.
Yeah.
So stuff like that will show up in there. If that stuff is showing up in there, it's definitely a value.
Yeah. That's more than a value. Let us know what you guys think, man. I think that it was worth it if you were like maybe a younger player, like you didn't have that much history, game history under your belt, hadn't played that many games. But
Or you-
now with new games, I feel like this is well like worth the price.
Yeah. Same. My recommendation is along the same lines. If you're new to gaming in general, or if you're a PlayStation player and you just got yourself a new Xbox
Right.
and you didn't get to play a lot of the Xbox original games, this would be good because again, Fable's on there, the Gears series is on there, Halo was on there. So those games, if you haven't had a chance, Sunset Overdrive. I mean, if you haven't had a chance to play those games, and they're Xbox exclusives, it's worth a gander.
Worth a gander. Let's go ahead and move on. That was a lot of Microsoft news, and now we have some more news coming out of Ubisoft with Rainbow Six Siege. Why don't you go ahead and take us through?
Yeah, I thought this was pretty funny. So, Rainbow Six Siege, and now Ubisoft, announced price hikes to Rainbow Six Siege. That's right, price hikes to a game that's 3 years old now. I want to say
pretty damn old.
Yes, 3-year-old game. They announced price hikes. So what Ubisoft did, they have a tiers of Rainbow Six Siege. They have a $15 tier for PC where you just buy the game and you have to unlock all your operators. Then they had a $40 tier that lets you buy the game and gets a few of the operators. Then they had the gold tier for I think $70 for the complete edition. No, wait, $70 for the most recent DLC operators. And then the complete edition was $90. So they're raising the prices. The $15 one stays the same. They're raising the $40 version to $60, or they were going to raise the $40 one to $60. The $70 version is $90, and the $90 version is $130. Mm-hmm. The $90 and the $130 version, I believe, do add the season pass for upcoming content coming out, and all of the games we're getting. The loot boxes that you can get it that you unlock in Siege.
Right.
There was a bit of an uproar, so the $40 version, the $40 version is going to stay the same. The standard edition of the game, which is just the game and just I think it's 10 operators. They were going to make that $60 with the 10 operators and some cosmetic items and in-game currency. But they backed off on that, so there's going to be a $15 and a $40 version. But the other two versions are going up from $70 to $90 and from $90 to $130.
This is terrible. I mean, okay, so when Rainbow Six Siege came out, it had a lot going on with it. I mean, if you ask somebody that's been playing Rainbow Six Siege this entire time, they'll probably tell you that this is pretty much a completely different game than what it came out at launch. They've been constantly going in and making changes, making adjustments, and trying to make the game better. Which is why in the past we've commended Ubisoft for sticking to their guns. They usually you don't see this much support for games anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, it seemed like they were, on the up and up as far as keep trying, or at least attempting to keep their player base happy.
Right.
But when they announced the price hike, and that was when I had initially saw the story. It was before they actually walked back from it. But yeah, they wanted to just take away the standard edition and then replace that with the special edition for $60 full price. And it's this game is old. It does not deserve $60 anymore.
Well, and this is we'll talk about it more now long form.
Yeah.
But they've constantly added characters to it. And what it looks like they're doing is they're trying to, technically that $40 version was heavy handed, but the next two versions up, get you the current season, and I think the next version up gets you the current season. No, the $90 one gets you all of the operators that have been released. The $40 one just gets you the original 10 operators from the base game. The $90 one gets you all the operators that have been released up until now. And the $130 version gets you all the operators that have been released until now and the next couple of seasons going forward. So those two I can understand because it's adding new content. Either you have to spend a lot of time unlocking them with the in-game currency, or you have to buy the expansion pack anyway. So I'm okay with that. But what you said is boosting the base game that get you the original operators, just boosting it and giving you a bunch of basically loot boxes.
Right.
I think that's nonsense. That's complete nonsense, and they should be ashamed for even thinking about doing something stupid like that.
Right, yeah, because as soon as the news came out, like people were up in arms. I don't know. It's like with everything that's happening in gaming right now, why would you even risk something like that? Why would you think that it's okay to come out with an announcement like that? Like, hey guys, you're gonna have, if you want this game, you're gonna pay full price. But then, still, it's like, come on.
Then I also have this question. So a lot of people that complain were people that are already playing Rainbow Six. What the hell do you care? You already have the game.
That's very true.
And people that don't have the game, I mean, if they don't have it by now, they're probably never going to get it. So I understand. Don't get me wrong. The $15 and $40 versions need to stay there and don't need to change. And I'm okay with the $90 and $130 version based on what they're giving you. But the fact that people that already have the game are complaining, well, I guess you can say, well, we want more people to play the game, so it's more people for me to kill, makes the community better. That's fine, but why? I mean, that just bugs me. That bugs me a little bit. Just because a bunch of people that have the game are complaining that the price is going on. Are you buying the game again? How many times are you going to buy the same game?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I mean, you never know, man. Some people out there, they buy games multiple times. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I guess the Smurf account. The Smurfs,
right? Yeah, the Smurfs, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I've never been into Rainbow Six Siege. I always thought that it was way too intimidating of a shooter for me to get into, so I never touched it. I mean,
I actually have it.
Really?
I do. I got it a long time ago at release with the season pass.
Dang. You want the season passes, man.
When I first played it, I thought that it was. I just felt like it felt old. Immediately felt old. The controls, the gunplay wasn't smooth. The gunplay wasn't smooth. The controls were weird. The animation was horrible. It had to be running at like 30 frames per second. It was just janky. Everything about the game had me like, really, this doesn't feel like an Xbox One game to me. And I just couldn't, because of that, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah. I don't know. Just didn't seem entertaining to me. But apparently people have been sticking with it.
Oh yeah, it's got a huge community. They have a full functioning pro league going on and all this other great stuff. I mean, people that play it, like you said, those issues that I complained about, they actually have since been ironed out. I just haven't felt like going back to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Rainbow Six Siege. Let us know what you guys think about it. But now we have to get into some pretty sad news. Some pretty predictable news, I should say, as well. Just because of the nature of everything that's been going on right now. But it has been confirmed that Anthem will be delayed until 2019. Yeah. Boo-hoo. Get out your napkins. Dry them tears. It's being delayed, boys. I mean, how could it not be delayed?
Right.
Like, that's the question. How could it not be delayed?
Well,
it was on both of our most anticipated games for the year. Yeah. Pending some more news, coming out of them as far as microtransactions was going to go. But, man, there was no way that they were going to release this, especially a game coming from BioWare, where in 2017, they had probably the biggest flop of their studio's entire history.
Right.
With, Mass Effect and Andromeda.
And I think Mass Effect and Andromeda was the same issue. It needed more time.
It needed more time. Needed a little bit more time in the oven.
Mm-hmm. And they rushed it out. So this could, they didn't rush because Mass Effect was delayed too, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was delayed.
But it was still like rushed out because they changed the engine on them. That was the problem. They changed over to the Frostbite.
Right.
That's what they didn't have enough time to finish.
Weren't they using Unreal?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. It's delayed. It's not unexpected, and I guess Kotaku broke the report, and in their reporting, they got a source that told them that the original release date was unrealistic to begin with.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting as to when this comes out. It's speculated that they won't release it. They can't push it past March 2019 because that's the end of the fiscal year. And EA is going to want to get this out. Once the story broke, EA shares took a hit. Their stock. I mean, EA's been getting beat down. They took a hit with the Battlefront story. Now they're taking a hit with this.
I cannot fault them for delaying the game like this. I mean, because this is essentially like make or break for BioWare. They
need to hit.
They failed hard with Andromeda. That was and Mass Effect is a golden child in video games.
It's got the built-in audience, right? It's got the built-in community, and
and now then they messed up on it. So I have faith in BioWare to come through with a solid product. It's just all of the extra shit that and then we talked about this before. It's all the extra stuff that we are worried and concerned about, like as far as their policy dealing with microtransactions, in-game, loot boxes, progression, all that jazz.
Well, if you look at BioWare, right? So let's just look at Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 was great.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 was a masterpiece. Right? Yeah. Mass Effect 3 was it was good, but
it was a good game.
Should have been better, right?
Should have been better, yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda was a turd. So if you look at what happened between 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda being released, 1 was BioWare. BioWare released that. Remember, Microsoft produced that. That's why they couldn't get Mass Effect on PlayStation.
On PlayStation, yeah.
Mass Effect 2 was pretty much finished when EA swooped in and was like, okay, we want to take BioWare on. So EA didn't have much input on Mass Effect 2. The games that they produced 100% after EA took the reins, or they fell under EA.
There's 3 and Andromeda.
And we saw what happened to those. So I don't think that's a coincidence.
I mean,
I really don't. I mean,
it would not be the first time that EA's influence ruined a freaking franchise.
No, that's what they do.
That's essentially what they do. They swoop you up. They influence your game in negative ways, and then when you don't, they close your studio down, absorb all of your IPs, and get everybody working Battlefield
and Battlefield. yeah, exactly. So it'd be like I said, like you said. I'm sorry. This is a make or break for BioWare. This has got to be a hit. I was looking forward to it because Destiny is a dud, and I need something to replace it.
Yeah. Oh, God, man, what the heck happened to Destiny? Jesus Christ,
it's a dud. And I need something to replace that. But
yeah, so we're gonna be waiting until next year. They haven't given us a specific time frame within 2019, but did they even have a specific window for this year?
Fall.
It was
2018.
fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the original date.
Yeah. So
that was the original window, I should say, not the date.
Okay. So maybe spring, summer 2019. What are you thinking?
I have no idea.
That would be an awesome summer hit, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good.
It does look good.
It looks so good.
To be quite honest, as good as it looks and excited as I am really I can't expect too much because EA's in control at the end of the day.
And it's like, do we want to praise the same publisher that did, Battlefront? Battlefront 2? It's like, how can you even get behind somebody like that?
Exactly.
God, so crazy. But yeah, that we just had to bring that up, man. I'm actually I want this game. I want this game to succeed, man. Mm-hmm. And it has nothing to do with EA. I just want this game to succeed because it just looks fun. It looks fun. I want it to be a fun game. I don't want it to be plagued with all of this negativity, which is why I'm so worried, because EA and a lot of publishers seems hell bent on making all games, a games for service type.
Yeah, game as a service.
Game as a service type scheme. So we'll see what happens, man. Freaking Anthem and Red Dead Redemption 2. I am praying for you two, man.
yeah.
Because I don't think I can live in a world where Red Dead Redemption 2 is filled with loot boxes and all types of crazy shit. I can't do it.
No,
I can't. I don't think I'd have to retire. I'd retire for gaming.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if they do it to Rockstar, it's a wrap for everybody else, man.
Yeah, I'm super worried about Red Dead just because of what the CEO said. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's their plan.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with EA.
Right, I won't have a problem if it's with the multiplayer, because Red Dead Redemption is not a game. If they do it like they did GTA 5, I don't care.
That's fine.
But if they creep it into the single player for no reason, man, listen.
All right, but that's enough. Oh no, I was about to say that's enough sad news, but I mean, depending on what kind of games you play, we might have some sadder news coming up here right now. So, Boogie, why don't you go ahead and take us to the next one?
So, Epic made an announcement. Not a happy announcement, but their MOBA, Paragon, is being shut down. Effective, I want to say April 30th. The servers are going to get shut down, and no longer you will be able to play. April 26th, I'm sorry. The servers are being shut down, and you will no longer be able to play Paragon. The thing about this is, one, Paragon never made out of beta.
Nope, it was still in early access.
Paragon was an early access beta game. It was only available on PlayStation and PC. Didn't even make it to the Xbox. But Epic Games came out and said that they just didn't make the right moves to grow the community. Essentially, they said it was bad execution on their part, and which is something that is amazingly rare.
Yeah.
Epic Games is going to refund every player for every transaction they made in the game.
Every single player for every single transaction, no matter when they jumped in.
Right. If you play Paragon and you bought some of their loot boxes, or you bought some of you participate in microtransactions, you are getting your money back, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. In today's age, and I said this on the 10 and 10, where the companies take the money and run. Oh yeah, Epic Games is standing behind their promise of providing good games and experiences for their players and their fans. And you can't. I mean, it's disappointing that this game is going to go away for people. But I'm not a mobile guy, so I can care less. But there's people out there that played this game and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played it, but I've heard of it, on more than one occasion. People playing it, people streaming it. It did not seem like the type of game that I would get into, but it didn't seem like a bad game at all. So to see it go away is definitely unfortunate. But what Epic Games is doing, and Epic Games has changed a lot in the more recent years, with some of the stuff that they've been putting out. They released the what's it called, Fortnite, and then alongside that with the Battlegrounds mode in Fortnite, they released Paragon, which is a MOBA. They've been branching out as a studio, not just going with the same style of games that they've been making while they were under Microsoft, just third person meathead shooters. They've definitely branched out in more ways than one. And to me, this is them just trying to stay on good terms with consumers. They're shutting down a MOBA. It wasn't successful in their eyes, so they're gonna shut it down. But they don't want people to feel like, oh well, they're shutting down a game that I like.
Yeah,
forget these guys.
We heard that when they shut down the Marvel game, right? What was the Marvel? The Activision, was it Activision that was doing it?
That was like Gazillion Entertainment.
Gazillion.
Like
well, they shut down the Marvel game, and people complaining. I spent $300-$400 on this game, and they just shut it down like this.
Yeah, and that wasn't even in early access. That was a full release, and it was only months after the console release too.
Yep.
But yeah, they this is because I mean they're taking a hit here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So this is
people,
them just
you don't want to give back money, but on the other hand, they're gonna focus their efforts on Fortnite, and Fortnite reportedly is making them a ton because that game is hugely popular, especially since they added the battle royale mode.
Yeah, battle royale. Yeah, I said battle royale mode. But yeah, man. I mean, shoot. If you played the game, you basically lost nothing.
Right.
It was like no stakes. You know, you invested in the game that you like. It's going away, but here's your money back.
Yep. Pretty
much.
Yep.
Put that into something else. I mean that's awesome, dude. I can't say anything bad about that decision right there.
Right. You can't complain. Now, if you're a PlayStation 4 player, you basically to get the money you have to go directly to Epic. They have two links. They have a link for PlayStation 4 players, and they have a link for PC players. And we'll have them in the show notes for you. But yeah, if you played Paragon, you spent any money, go to the links, fill out their form, and get your money back.
All of it. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Let's move on. We got one more story in the top 5 news stories for this week, and it involves our old friend Atari. Oh man, Atari. We haven't talked about them since they delayed the Atari box. Has there been any
no, I haven't seen any
update on that?
No, I'm on the little mail list when they send out the little updates. I haven't seen anything from them at all.
All right, well, this week they're in the news because they want to release Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch. The only thing is they want you to invest in that decision. Like they want to bring the game to the Switch, but they want you to invest your money. And the reason I'm using the word invest is because it's not, they call it crowdfunding, but it's not crowdfunding in the traditional sense, like, you know, you crowdfund a game on like Indiegogo or on Kickstarter or something like that, where when the game comes out, you receive a copy. In this instance, what Atari is doing is when the game comes out, you will not get a copy.
No, you will not get a copy.
You will not get a copy of the game. So I'm really confused as to what the hell they're talking about. It's just like
so what this is like a capital investment or like a venture capital. Yeah, it's a capital investment. So basically, you would quote unquote invest in a game. So you know, you give them $100. What they're going to do is they're going to pay you back 50%. They're going to pay back 50% of their profits. I think it is. Mm-hmm. No. 25% of the profits for 18 months or until you reach. I'm sorry. 50% of profits until you reach 120% of your original goal.
Right.
Of your original investment. So if you give $100. If you pledge $100, you give them $100. You get your $100 back plus 20 extra. So you wind up with you make $20.
Yeah.
The more you give, obviously, the more money you make. There's a couple of caveats that are a little bit concerning. First off, if you invest at least $750, you will get a 25% discount on the game. When you get up to $1,500, you get the 25% discount, and you get a free copy of the Art of Atari book, whatever that is. And any investor you have your name listed on their investor's site, their online investor site. But eventually, you're investing. You're not doing this to get the game. You're doing this to make money. Essentially, is what you're doing.
Essentially. So it's weird that they use the word like crowdfunding. You know, they want to bring it to the Switch, and it's weird because if you watch the video that they put out, you know, advertising it, they boast how much money they make off their IPs. Like, we have over 200 blah 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 IPs, and we make millions of dollars. I'm like, if you make so much goddamn money, then why the heck are you crowdfunding the game and then not even giving people the game unless they give you a certain amount of money?
I think this is more, to be quite honest, I think the game is coming out regardless. I think this is more of a publicity stunt as opposed to them needing the money, the $2 million, because their goal is $2.1 million.
Right.
And one of the caveats is if they don't make that $2.1 million goal, your return on investment could be a lower percentage.
Right.
So there's that.
Like you won't even make your money back.
Well, you'll make your money back, but instead of making 20%, you might only make 5%.
Okay.
Or you might only make 3%. So I mean, their goal, like I said, is $2.1 million. There's 85 days left. They're sitting at about right now. They're sitting at 31,355. So it doesn't look like it's going all that well. But I don't know. It's a different way to get you involved in investment. I mean, if it's something you want to try out, I mean, it's pretty much a low risk because, like I said, I think the game is going to come out regardless if they make their goal or not. And it is, give them $100 instead of giving them $100 for and getting a game and some knickknacks. You don't get the game, but you can make some money. I don't know. There's one questionable, worrisome thing on this is that they have a paragraph that says they can spend up to $10,000 or $10,000 or more on discretionary spending, which would be like meals, travel, payments to themselves or friends and family for work done. So, hell, somebody can take that $2.1 million and run based on those particular paragraph. But I mean, there's obviously laws in effect for what they can really do with the money. But
overall, it seems weird. Atari could get Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch if they wanted to, but will it sell on the Switch is their problem. I guess they're trying to, make the money for the game before they actually sell it and then sell the game. I don't know, man. It's weird, man. It is a very, very weird situation that they're bringing up right now.
Like I said, I think it's just like a publicity stunt, to be quite honest. I think that they're going to bring this game out regardless.
Right, because I mean...
Oh, and by the way, one last thing is there is a minimum investment. So the minimum investment amount is $250. So if you want to get in on this, you gotta spend $250.
$250 for Roller Coaster Tycoon, and you don't get the game.
Well,
hey,
if they give you a 20%, that's $50. You get paid out $300. So you can buy the game with the proceeds.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems weird. And I don't know, I just didn't like the tone of the video. Like when it first started, it was like, we make so much money, but we need your help. I'm like, get out of here, man. Where's my Atari box?
Yeah, I remember I played Roller Coaster Tycoon, but that was like dial-up days I was playing that game. So this game is dirt old.
Yeah, I never played it. I mean, apparently this is going to be tailored for the Switch. It's going to have like the touch controls. It actually seems like it'll be a solid game for the Switch. You can take it on the go, build your little park or whatever. Yeah, it all sounds great. But I don't know. I'm not about to invest no $250 into it. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, that's our top 5 news stories. Let us know what you guys think on this story or any of the stories that we focused on during this segment or in the quick hits. We definitely need your guys, or we want your guys' feedback on these stories. So if you agree with our opinion, you disagree, whatever the case, let us know down in the comment section below on wherever it is that you are consuming this media, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, or whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app. You can leave comments down in the comment section and give us your opinion. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Now, we are going to move on to our next segment, which we haven't done in quite some time. At least we haven't done it properly. And that is This Week in Loot Boxes. Oh, man. We got some stories for you guys for This Week in Loot Boxes. Because, these companies, they just don't seem to understand what it is that they're doing wrong. And they don't understand that what we want as consumers is not to be freaking cheated. They don't understand it. So we talked about what's it called, Ubisoft and Ghost. I'm sorry, and Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
But now this story deals with another Ubisoft title, Ghost Recon Wildlands, another title that has been out for quite a bit of time.
Last March, I believe, is when it came out.
Yeah. So it's been out for a little while. Went quiet for a bit. Came out with the Predator DLC, which seemed pretty cool. But now they are adding in a new feature, and it's the only thing that people are talking about what they don't want, and they're adding it.
Loot boxes.
Loot boxes. Loot boxes are coming to Ghost Recon Wildlands. Get them while they are hot.
Now, Ubisoft knows. This is what's funny to me. Ubisoft knows the backlash. Ubisoft knows how much we as a gaming community love loot boxes. So in an attempt to get ahead of the furor, they released a FAQ, and they specifically said that it's not going to affect gameplay, it's not going to affect progression, completely optional, completely cosmetic. And to be quite honest, if you're going to add loot boxes, that's what they should be. I should not have to buy a loot box. One interesting thing they did note is that there will be no duplicates. They've got a system where you will not get any kind of duplicates out of their loot boxes. So I guess if you're gonna do loot boxes, this is a way to go. I'm still tired of seeing them.
Yeah, and a lot of people are, and I mean, adding them in like after the fact too. It's like, come on, man. I just don't like the timing of it. Is all, you know. The timing of it is bad, and like the way that they are promoting it is like, oh well, you know, we're gonna add loot boxes, but we're not Battlefront 2. So these are the good loot boxes.
These are the good loot boxes.
Yeah, man. Like, no, dude. Like, no. I miss the days where I would play a game and just unlock stuff for playing the game. Like right now, I'm playing Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z or whatever. Right? You get the in-game currency that's called Zenny. And you get that from, you know, playing matches, you know, doing certain challenges, whatever, playing the story mode. You get Zenny. Zenny unlocks all of the like extra stuff, like colors for your fighters, avatar characters and their you know, different colors, everything. Like, why can't we just have that? Like, why can't I just unlock stuff in the game just normally? Why does it have to be like this extra like padding and like, oh well, you could use in-game currency or you could use real money? It's like, no, dude, I don't want to use real money.
Right.
I don't want to pay you for unlocking stuff in the game. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and my favorite game, Destiny 2, they just made an announcement that their Bright Ingrams, which is their version of the loot boxes, they're pulling back on that.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, they're removing items out of it. They're gonna make them chase items, and they're actually gonna give you I think it's an item. I think it's a ghost that's gonna give you a chance to have enemies just drop Bright Ingrams out of the blue, as opposed to always having to either buy them or get them from level up. So
yeah, I don't know, man. This whole loot box fiasco is getting tired, and I am getting tired of games just implementing this feature, especially after the fact. I mean, this game has been out for almost
a year.
For a year.
And that is really curious, and like, this is another one that move into our long form we got going on here. But it's odd that they're doing it this way.
It's very odd. Another story that we want to focus on, because we're going to tackle that topic again in the long form, but we do want to talk about what's going on in Washington State. Why don't you go ahead and hit up on that too, Boogie?
So Washington, State Senator Kevin Rinker, doesn't work in Washington D.C., but he works in the Senate in Washington State. Mm-hmm. He's introduced a bill that is going to answer the question as to whether loot boxes should be considered gambling or not. Now, this is going to be based on Washington State law. Right. It's not a federal law. It's not going to have any effect for anybody outside of the state of Washington. But basically, what he's doing, he's crafting a bill that's going to have tasked the Washington Gaming Authority, Washington State Gambling Commission, with researching the loot box and the mechanics and seeing if they would be constituted as gambling, and based on the findings, they're regulated as such or not. Yeah. So this is really interesting. Again, it's not a law that's going to affect the country totally, but it will set a precedent. Right. And the thing is, what'll happen is if they do make a law, and I take that back, it can affect the country as a whole, because if they do implement a law that says this is what you have to do to sell your game in Washington State, they're not going to localize it to sell it. They're going to have to either not sell the game in Washington State, or they're going to have to
make the Washington State edition of every single game that has that feature.
That or they're going to have to just make it on all the games everywhere they sell. That's what happens with cars. So if you notice, California has the super strict emission policies, and to sell a car in California, like you can. If you sell a car in Montana, it doesn't have to meet those requirements, but it's too costly for Ford to make a car specifically for California and then everybody else. So they make all their cars to fit California standards, and this would be the same type of thing where a developer has to make all of their games meet the Washington standard, as opposed to making a specific version for Washington and then one for everybody else.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because like. I mean, and that's not to say that other states won't follow suit as well. Like if they're successful with this, if it goes through and they actually implement it, and they start like overseeing this type of stuff, they start regulating it. Other states are going to follow suit. I mean, there's already, I believe, it's one other state, and I believe New York is also writing up Hawaii, yeah.
Yes, Hawaii,
They're also like writing up legislation as well. It's like nobody is down for this, and I don't understand why people aren't understanding the fact that this is not what the people want.
Right. Well, I do have a kind of a problem with this, because when you look at both representatives, their basis for passing these bills or pushing these bills is because of the kids,
right?
And that's a little bit, that's a little bit off topic, because to be quite honest, it's not kids that's really playing these games. It's us that's playing these games. The average age of a gamer is like 32 or 33 or something like that. I will take it. I will take it, because they're going to, at least they're doing something, as opposed to just turning a blind eye to it. But I wish that our elected officials would get with the times. They're just so far behind everything.
Yeah, they're thinking of it as like, oh, this predatory thing towards kids. Well, in all honesty, they're not really trying to prey on children. They're trying to prey on the addictive nature of gambling itself.
Right? It's consumer predation, and it's they're preying on the consumer as a whole, not just kids, but everybody that plays games. So,
right.
I mean, they need just to look at it that way holistically, as opposed to like, oh, they're exploiting the kiddies. They're not.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But we said this a while back that it was going to take a drastic change in order to reel in this whole loot box debacle. It doesn't seem that everybody is aware of how serious this could be. And I'm not saying that them implementing legislation will be good for gaming. It could possibly ruin games. Yeah, it could be bad for games if the government has to regulate it. I mean, we won't have loot boxes, but there's probably going to be a lot of other stuff we won't have as well.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a slippery slope. And these guys need to get their act together. They need to find. So I understand why they're doing it, because it's expensive to make these games. It's come to the point where
it's expensive, but these motherfuckers have money, man. I'm sorry. I do not like that excuse anymore.
The gaming community has come to a certain level of expectation, and there's a couple of problems with it. One, the cost and the huge penalty if the game is not a hit. Mass Effect Andromeda. and the fact that your game could be a flop because of the internet and not because of its merit. It could be a great game, but if somebody on the internet makes one bad review and that's picked up, that can cause problems too. So the risk is really high now. So they're trying to, instead of making a ton of 2 or 3 games a year that's big budget, they want to make maybe one and be able to stretch that game over several years and make it revenue generator. I understand where they're going with it, but they need to go about it some way different.
No, they need to do it. They need to do it differently.
Yeah, much differently.
Because I mean, we're getting to that point, man. People are writing up laws or writing up bills, and this stuff gets passed. It's going to drastically change gaming. I can't picture the ramifications, but I know that it's going to be a drastic change.
Yep.
And I mean, it's like history is repeating itself. You know, we have this oversaturation of like this whole loot box thing, and it's like it's getting to a breaking point.
Right.
You know, the same thing. You know, like when the game market like crashed back in the day. I mean, is history like doomed to repeat itself, or are we going to have another one of those situations?
I don't think it'll get that bad, but I think there will be some course corrections. There's going to be some people that's going to go out of business. There's going to be some people that's going to hurt.
Yeah, some people are going to lose their jobs,
and that's problematic in itself.
Yeah.
So they definitely need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Stop being lazy.
Yeah, they definitely something needs to happen, because if the government has to put their foot down, that's not going to be good for everybody.
No,
that's not going to be good.
Yep, definitely not.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was This Week in Loot Boxes. Let us know what you think about this segment. It's a fairly new segment that we added to the show. So let us know what you guys think about it. Do you enjoy it? Is there any other stories that you would like for us to discuss? Because a lot of loot box related stories do come out, and we kind of pick and choose which ones we decide to cover. But if there's any that you guys would like for us to cover, be sure to let us know. You can hit us up on Facebook or on Twitter, Weekly Gaming News Show. On Twitter, we're AW Gaming NS, and just let us know what you guys think. I really like this segment. I want to keep that one going. And now it's time for another new segment. This is the live Q&A section where we answer the questions from our live chat. We've been collecting your questions that you guys have been putting into the chat section. We have 3 really good ones here that we want to, I'm going to say 2.5 good ones. 2.5. And we're going to answer you guys' question, because that's what we want to incorporate you guys into the stream. So first up, we have one from Zelapar. This is actually a question that we had asked last week, but we didn't have enough time to actually get to it. Let's go ahead and tackle this one. What did Zelapar have to say? So
his question is about developer supporter packs.
Okay.
They're usually like $60 packs that give you, is basically extra large loot boxes.
Okay.
But it's usually done by like an indie developer, not a major developer. It's usually done by indies, and the proceeds are used to continue development on either development or just to keep the game up on servers.
Okay.
And our thoughts on that. And for something like that, I don't mind. I mean, if it's an indie developer and they're bootstrapping their game and they need money from the gaming community to keep the game going, or if it's in early access, alpha, beta, because they did that with I want to say Ark Survival, right?
Okay.
It was in early access, and they did like a quote unquote developer pack. It was like for a DLC for like $20 or something. People got mad about it because the game is still in early access and they're asking for more money.
Right.
And we talked about on the show, they asked for more money because they needed the money to continue development of the game.
Right.
For something like that, I don't have a problem with it, because if it's money they're taking to go back into the game, again, they're bootstrapping it. They're not a huge corporation that's bringing in billions in profit. I want to support those type of development. If I'm playing a game and I'm enjoying it, and is either buy the support pack and continue playing, or eventually the game's just going to go away where I can't play it anymore, if it's a game I enjoy enough, I'm going to give you the money because I'm going to want to keep playing your game.
Yeah, I don't see the problem in this on a smaller scale. Like if there was like a $60 freaking loot box pack on like a GTA 5, I probably wouldn't invest in that at all.
Right.
But for like a smaller scale game, you can see where their intentions are. They want to keep the game going. They want to, keep people engaged. So it's not like they're just asking for more money and not giving you anything. Because that's been done too. We've had like Kickstarters come out where, you put in the initial investment, but then they need extra money.
Right.
So it's not like one of those situations where you've already, backed a project or something, or you're already, purchased a game, and then like you don't get, they need more money, but they don't give you anything. Like
right.
A developer pack where you actually get some kind of substance and
right.
you're keeping the development of the game like going. I don't see a problem with that.
And the only thing I would say is the key to this would be transparency. Don't ask me don't ask me for money and not tell me what it's for. If you're asking me for money, you tell me what it's for. I don't. Again, I will support. I will support the development of your title for sure.
Yeah. Especially if it's something that I'm actively playing. Like if I'm actively playing like some kind of indie game, they need more money. Maybe if they had like tiers, like maybe if they had like a 10, 20, 30, 60. Right. That would, just to give people more options and, most importantly, be transparent. Tell people where the money is going. Tell people, like what the progress is on certain aspects of the project. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that at all. I think if you are transparent, that could probably be one of the best ways that you both keep your audience engaged while continuing to support your title.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Zelapar. That was over on Twitch. Next, we have a question by the homie Maury Jin over on Twitch as well. And he asks, have you picked up Monster Hunter World and how do you like it? We kind of answered this question during the icebreaker, but I have no problem revisiting it. I have picked up the game. I got it at launch. I have not touched it yet because I have just been too consumed with Dragon Ball FighterZ. I do plan on playing the game very soon, and we're actually going to do something special with it because my friend O, which you guys may remember him from previous episodes. He's been one of our guests here a couple of times. He's actually going to be my guide through the through the Monster Hunter World experience. So we may be streaming it, so you guys might see that very soon. So look forward to that. But as of right now, I have not touched the game yet, but I'm very excited. How about you, Todd? Yeah,
so I do have it. I actually got it because my game share buddy got it. So
yep,
I've played it. I played through the prologue for sure, and I've got my first hunt. I haven't gone on that yet because I talked to you about this a little before. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know really what to expect, but I'm going to go out and get into that. But I don't have an opinion. And I was talking to Mount Lover on this. He was streaming Dragon Ball. I think it was Friday night. I was talking to him about it. I want to give it about 12 hours of solid gameplay before I come up with a decision. Right. Again, this is something that's outside of what I normally play. I hadn't played a Monster Hunter. Like I said, I know what Monster Hunter is. I know what it's about, and I didn't play it purposely because I didn't think it was something I would be interested in. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying it out. I'm going to, like I said, I want to give it a good solid 12 hours because I know this game has got got long legs. Yeah. You're going to be playing it for hundreds of hours to really get to really get all you can get out of that game. So right. I want to give it a fair amount of time before I make a decision. But so far, I mean, it looks cool. I picked I have a sword that turns into an axe. Ooh. So it's a sword and a shield, and then you attach the shield to the edge of the sword and use it as an axe.
That's tight.
I thought it was cool as hell. That's why I got it. It's like the coolest shit I've seen in a while as a weapon.
That's pretty tight, yo.
But yeah, I'm going to give it some time and see what give it some real time. I'm not going to there's games I play for like 30 minutes. Like, oh, this is shit. Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. Damn, shots fired.
But yeah,
I want to give this. No, I'm just kidding.
Recore, I played a lot. I actually did.
That was a very meh game, dude. Yeah, that game is so meh.
Have you played it recently? Because this past this September.
But yeah, they updated mine to the definitive version.
Yep, the year anniversary. They added the last frame, and they updated it and made some improvements. So I'll go back and finish it.
It's just a very meh experience. I actually had to start from the beginning because I had no clue what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah. Our last question comes from That Dude Streams over on Twitch, and he asks, so Migos dropped their new album, Culture 2. What are your opinions on it, and do you think it would be a good soundtrack for a game? Now, this would be a very solid question if you asked it about any other group besides Migos, because I do not listen to Migos at all. Take it, man. Take it.
That Dude Streams. Migos is not a real rap group.
Sorry, dude. This is our opinions, man. I don't listen to Migos. I don't particularly enjoy their music. If I were to be truly honest, I think they are ruining the perception of a male hip hop artist. Because it's not hip hop, dude. I
don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is. I listen.
And he asked this question like mad early in the stream. Probably
Migos is not a real rap group.
I don't know, man.
They're not a hip hop group.
I don't know what it is. That's that mumble rap, dude. I don't mess with it. You were talking to. I was born in the 80s, okay? I don't listen to mumble rap. I can't.
It's nonsense. I don't know. I have a streaming service. I use Tidal. I know you don't like it. I like it.
Tidal is good.
Dude, their playlist.
Spotify is better.
No, it's not. Spotify doesn't have Jay-Z. That drop the mic.
Okay. All right. You got it. You got it. You got it.
You got it. But no, I like Spotify. You know what I found in Spotify versus Tidal? A lot of the old deep Motown stuff that I grew up listening to. My mom used to play all of that old school stuff. Spotify doesn't have a lot of. They have them on the greatest hits, and a lot of them aren't the original versions. Tidal has all that stuff, and they have a lot of obscure hip hop that I listened to growing up, like people that you normally wouldn't have heard of. They even have some old school mixtapes from the New York radio station. So that type of stuff, Tidal beats it hands down without question, and that's just my opinion.
No, yeah, I can respect that. I mean, what I like about Spotify is the fact that they have like more alternative music. So they actually have video game soundtracks. They have entire video game soundtracks. They have like cover artists. You'll see their stuff on Spotify. What else? And I just like the way that they collect the data from my listening habits and make playlists out of it. Because not only they'll keep stuff that I like, but then they'll also introduce me to new stuff that they think I might like based off of what I've been listening to.
Yeah. So I do is really good. Yeah,
I do like that little algorithm they have going on there. It's introduced me to some really good music. But yeah.
But Migos is not a real hip hop group.
Yeah, I won't be listening to Migos on any of those platforms. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Whatever, man. Like, you asked the question, there's our answer. To answer the actual question, no, it would make a terrible soundtrack for a video game. Unless it was a Migos video game.
And that would be terrible.
And it would be a terrible game. I'm sorry, man. All right, so that was our Q&A section. We like to incorporate the live chat anytime we get a chance to. So if you're watching live right now, you didn't get a chance to ask your question, you can still do so. You can put it in the chat if you're watching live, or you can hit us up on social media. We're at AWGamingNS on Twitter. You can also leave us questions on Facebook or in the comment section on YouTube. Wherever it is that you are consuming this media, you can leave us questions. Just use the hashtag AskAWGNS and we'll make sure to get your questions answered in some capacity, whether it's in the Q&A or a weekly icebreaker question. We want to incorporate you guys, so allow us to do that by asking us some questions, mostly gaming related. We like to keep. I like how he wanted to know about the Migos, but then he kept it gamer. He kept it gamer related. So I do appreciate that.
We will answer some, pop culture questions
that
are within the purview of the gaming community, stuff that the gaming community will usually be interested in that shows up in pop culture. Yeah, absolutely.
Movies, comics, anything like that. We're all about that. So now let's move into the next segment, and that's going to be the long form discussion. This is the part of the podcast where we take one individual topic and we give it the deep dive. We go all in, and this week we have a question or a topic from Boogie. So Boogie, why don't you go ahead and introduce it?
Simple question. Are we moving closer to games as a service? And I bring this up. There's two stories in here that I bring this up on. It could be three even. One is the Rainbow Six story with Rainbow Six and the price hikes. Yep. Another story is with Microsoft Game Pass, and a third story could be Ghost Recon adding the loot boxes so late. Yeah. And again, I'm seeing this as a whole push to move video game titles as a service as opposed to a one-time shop. When you look at Microsoft, it looks like they're going with the subscription type service, right?
Yeah.
Multiple games where you pay a subscription fee, a la Netflix, right? You go. Netflix is amazing with their. I mean, when Netflix first came out, they had movies.
You get them in the mail, shows, like three in them, like 3 discs in the mail at a time. Yeah. Oh God.
I'm talking about just the streaming.
Okay.
So when Netflix streaming when the Netflix streaming first came out, it was terrible because it got a whole bunch of B-list movies. The fake Godzilla movie, the Transmorphers.
Sharknadoes.
Yes, remember the Transmorphers?
Transmorphers. I remember Transmorphers.
That you got those phony movies, and once they started making their original content, it exploded.
Oh my God! It freaking blew up, man.
And it's great, and that's in my eyes. That's why I think Microsoft is trying to go. They're starting right now. They're trying to lean on publishers to bring in titles. I mean, if you look at the path that Xbox Game Pass is going, that third-party publishers putting in titles, pulling out titles, pulling in titles, pulling out titles. Same thing Netflix has. And now they just said, well, we're going to start putting our first-party titles in. And those will be there forever because they're our titles. And they have they have some of their older original titles. Yeah. Fable, Gears of War, Sunset Overdrive, Halo Wars, Halos are in there. I mean, they have that stuff in there already. So I think that is them moving towards their games as a service.
Yeah.
And when you look at what Ubisoft is doing, Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon Wildlands, that again is more of a game as a service, as that one is more of an a la carte ad hoc type where they just keep adding stuff and make you pay for it.
They want you to pay for it, yeah.
Adding new characters, pay money. And they're doing it with For Honor 2. Add new characters, pay money. Add new characters, pay money. And then there's the third one where it's a single game subscription, right? When you look at something like World of Warcraft, which has really been the only super successful subscription game.
That kind of model has died out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't really see too many of those popping up, and any of them that are still around are most likely very like niche communities, very small. The only one that has made a killing is World of Warcraft, and I honestly don't even hear about that game as much anymore. Yeah, I haven't heard it. I haven't heard about it in a while.
I know people still stream it. I see it on Twitch as a top stream. It's usually in the top 100 stream games.
Okay.
And there's tons of people podcasting, and they still do their raids, and they just released a expansion pack this past year, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't this winter, this past fall? Yeah. So I mean, it's still popular, but I just see that many. And even if you look at Sony has their PlayStation Now, and they started adding more PlayStation 4 games to that service. And again, Xbox Game Pass is right now it's only on Xbox, but I can see that being available for PC. Yep. And PlayStation Now was available on PlayStation 4 and PC. So I mean, PlayStation Now used to be available on other devices too, and they stopped.
I think it was on Vita. Yeah,
the Vita. They pulled it off the Vita. So, I mean, when you look at that type of stuff, those type of subscription services, I think, are going to be the wave of the future. I think that's going to be the course correction, is instead of us getting destroyed by loot boxes and all of this stuff, there's going to be some titles that's added to these type of subscription service. And EA has a subscription service too, the EA Access service, which is, I think that's like $30 a year, and they put the year-old games in there. So right now you can play Madden 17 and FIFA 17 and Battlefield 1. I think they just added, and the original Battlefront they just added, Star Wars Battlefront they added. But, they put their games in a little bit after. But what's good about that is you get discounts on all EA games. $5 off is usually, so 10% discount, I think, is what you get. So I don't know. What do you think as going from buying the titles, a single title, to paying a monthly service fee for a ton of titles?
The $60 model is something that we've been stuck in for quite some time. You pay your $60 and you get the full experience. What has been happening, and it seems like natural progression, because first came the DLC. You would pay the $60 and then you had the DLC. It would come out whenever it came out, and then they wanted you to pay for the DLC before it was even available, a la the season pass.
Right.
So, the season pass, thing has, been going for quite some time, and that seems to be dying off because, you get games and in the case of Destiny, where if you don't get the DLC, you get locked out of the base content, it's causing a stir. It's causing, it's a cause for concern. People are getting upset. Games as a service doesn't seem that malicious in my opinion. It seems like the best thing that you could possibly offer somebody that's going to be playing video games, because not only are you pay your $10 and you play whatever it is that you want to play. And I'm not sure if this has been confirmed, and I did do the trial for the Game Pass or whatnot, but I didn't really get into too many games. But are the DLC included with the Game Pass downloads? No,
it depends. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't.
Okay.
It depends on the edition. So if it's just a standard edition, the DLC isn't included. If you wanted to get the DLC, what they recommend is that you buy the game at the discount and then get the DLC to go along with it.
Right. I honestly just think that games as a service is the natural progression. There's like the three styles that you brought up are kind of just like duking it out. Like, are we going to do like the Netflix style service where, you pay your $10 a month? There's a collection of games that can like go away. I think Game Pass is probably the best option out of the three, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially with the inclusion of brand new titles, brand new first party titles. Like, I don't think that you can beat that, man. You can't beat Sea of Thieves and a collection of 99 other games for $10. Can't beat that.
You can't. And when you pair that with the Xbox Live service, Xbox Live Gold,
you're getting 4 games.
You get 4 games a month.
So all in 1 month, you're getting a brand new title, and 4 freaking like free games via the game with Gold. Right. All for what? Because like
$80 a year. Yeah. $60 for the Xbox Live Gold and $120 for the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And that's something I forgot to mention.
Not bad.
The Game Pass is also starting in March. You're going to be able to buy prepaid cards 6 month increments for $60.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so I mean, I like that. I like that format, and I wouldn't be adverse to paying like $12.99 or $13.99 if it includes Xbox Live Gold. So, say for $13.99 a month, I'm getting Xbox Live Gold and the Game Pass all bundled together. I wouldn't be too adverse to that.
Yeah.
It's a lot for not that much. I mean, to be quite, I'm paying $11.99 a month for Netflix or $12.99 because I have the 4K one.
No, I don't have the 4K.
Yeah, so I have the 4K I have the 4K with the limited screens. I want to say it's $12 or $13.99 a month. I forget. So I mean, and all I'm getting there is movies. Right. Games are much more entertaining to me than movies are.
Yeah,
I get a lot more out of my money for playing the game than I do out of watching the movie.
Although I have been getting into those like animal documentaries on Netflix. Me and the GF, we've been watching them jokes.
Dude, you gotta watch?
Hilarious.
You gotta watch Devilman Crybaby. That is some weird ass shit. I'm telling you.
Have you watched Black Mirror?
Oh yeah. That's my joint.
That shit's real.
Yeah. So Devilman Crybaby is an anime, and it's about this little boy. It's about this kid, right? He's like he's a punk. He like do something to him, he goes and starts crying. That's where the crybaby comes from.
Okay.
But apparently he gets possessed by a devil, by a demon. And like his job is to go out and kill all of the bad demons, and like he'll go somewhere and like he'll go to like a rave, and that's where the demons will show themselves, and it's brutal.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's weird too. It's like a weird Japanese anime. It's brutal. You gotta watch it.
I'm gonna check it out.
If you're into anime, watch it. It's actually kind of cool. I'm like 4 episodes in right now, I think.
Oh my god, I'm gonna check it out. But let's get back on topic.
Yeah, get back.
No, but like I was saying, I think this is just the natural progression. Every other style of monetization that has come out, past this, like the $60 investment, has had its faults. I mean, with the DLC, it was instances like Capcom including the DLC was already on disc.
They stripped it out. They
stripped it out. They locked it behind a paywall. Yeah. So you had issues like that. What else? You could have issues with monthly subscription services,
right? Like
with WoW. I can't remember the title, but there was a $60 game that came out. It was an MMO. It was $60 up front, and then you had to pay. Right. So like nobody's having that anymore. I don't know. I feel like this is the natural progression, and it's going to be the safest investment out of everything else that's going on.
And to be quite honest, you look at a game like the $60 model, but it hasn't been a $60 model for quite some time, because just like you said, games come out for $60 and then they have all of these either microtransactions or add-on passes. Yeah. I mean, every game. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda was supposed to have add-on until they canceled it because it was so bad. But I mean, every game, when you look at Assassin's Creed's got add-ons, Watch Dogs, For Honor, Destiny. I mean, you can go down the list. Every game has some kind of either microtransaction or additional content that's released later on. And whether it's fully developed and just not added, or it's just being developed. I mean, some of it, like I know for sure on Destiny, the first DLC was developed simultaneously with the original game. Right. Now, it wasn't ready when the original game came out, but it was already talked about. There were storyboards, and it was being developed to the point where there's clues dropped in the original game. If you pay attention to some of the original story and some of the original strikes, you will hear them make references to upcoming DLC. And so I mean, it's already built in. You know it's coming. The game is not $60 anymore. Games aren't $60 anymore. No. If you want the full experience.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Anything that gives people more options for their money, I'm all about that, because then let's say a title is on Games Pass and you want it, you get it at a discount. I don't know. I feel like that could be the answer to like all of this. Like, oh well, games are so expensive. It's giving people the subscription service model,
right?
Because then they pay for what they want. We have a list of 100 games, $10 a month. Like you're in there,
right?
I don't know, man. It's a lot of things that are like being tried out for like the first time during like this generation.
Yeah, something's got to give. Something's gonna stick. Me personally, if I had my way, I like the Xbox Game Pass. Where it's at right now with the most recent announcement. I like where it's at right now.
Yeah, because I liked it before, but it just didn't appeal to me personally because the selection of games that they had, I had played most of them, so it wasn't. It wouldn't be a it wouldn't be a clear, like a good investment for me. Right. It wouldn't be beneficial. Like I would be paying $10 and then either replaying old games or just not replaying them or just wasting that. Right. And then I would still be buying new titles.
Right.
But now I don't have to do that. It gives me an excuse to dust off the old Xbox One controller and, turn on my Xbox and play some games, man.
That's blasphemous. Dust off my Xbox controller.
I've been a PlayStation. I've been on PlayStation for a minute now, dude.
My PlayStation hasn't been on. It's not even on standby anymore. Because
oh man,
the last time that thing has been turned on, I know when it was. It was in October. No, when did Zero Dawn DLC come out?
I don't remember.
Well, whenever that came out, that's the last time it was on because I bought that and downloaded it, and that was it.
I did play Assassin's Creed Origins on my Xbox. I did play that, but besides that, you know, all the games that I've been playing right now have been on PlayStation.
I haven't touched it, and I don't have any plans to touch it anytime soon, to be quite honest. And I do want to play my Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, but
yeah, you got to get that. I started it. It's good. It's pretty.
Yeah,
yeah.
I got Monster Hunter. I got to mess with. I got Assassin's Creed that I'm into.
You got Monster Hunter on Xbox.
It's on Xbox. Yeah, March got it. Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. So if I like it enough in the 12 hours I play, I might get it on PlayStation so I can play with you and
That'd be dope.
I got to go through my trial period.
No, I get it. I got you.
I want to play. Yeah,
I got you. But yeah, to answer the question, to get to the end of this discussion, I 100% agree that we are moving closer to games as a service, but only time will tell which service is going to stick. You know, whether it's going to be you know, something that we've seen before, or what's going on now, or what Xbox is trying to do with Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I feel like we would already be there if Xbox was allowed to implement the services that they wanted to around the release of the Xbox One.
Yeah, the things that we have right now: persistent online connection, digital downloads, and all of that stuff that they said they were going to do. So basically, they were just too early. People weren't ready for it.
It was too early. People weren't ready. You know, people were still like into their used copies of games. People, you know, trading in and all that. Sharing games, even though you would be able to share games digitally. Like I look back at that commercial, and you know, everybody was like, oh, that was like the biggest diss of like all time. But in reality, I would have been able to carry my profile on my controller and then take my controller to your house and have my library.
Right. And share it. That's better than a disc.
That's way better than lugging some discs around in my backpacks.
Right, exactly. That's old fashioned.
It is old fashioned. Yeah,
this is the future. This is what year is it? 2018.
2018. Yeah, I had to look at the calendar for a second.
We're in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you would have been able to game share games that you bought on disc, as opposed to just right now you only can game share digital games.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. But slowly but surely the technology is moving in that direction. And like I've been saying, Xbox has been future-proofing themselves, man. They have been going out of their way to try to get this foundation for Xbox as like a service,
as a full service,
as a full service instead of just, you know, a set-top box.
Yep,
Even though they're going hard on like the set-top box features as well.
Yeah, I like it. I like having my Xbox One. Actually, my 1S, I've got Cody on it. It's just some of the.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, some of the not the X. I'm not putting it on my X. I have it on the S. Some of the apps aren't working right now. Some of the plugins. I'm sorry. Some of the plugins, they're really janky. I need to smooth it out because I'm putting that upstairs.
Okay.
And if the old lady can't manage it, she's going to flip out. So I got to make sure that it's perfectly user friendly and you can just do what we need to do with it. And once I get it there, I'll put it upstairs. But I mean, I like the media features. I like having the all-in-one box. I like being able to play great games and watch good movies without having to change my input.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of input changing over here. I want to watch TV. Get the other remote. That's the conversation me and my girl have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. You know, I've said this on the podcast many a time. This generation is going to define console gaming for a very long time. We'll see whether or not we'll get another Xbox console after the X or a PlayStation 5. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go. But as far as like digital games, I mean, we're going the way of, we're getting closer and closer to how games are being distributed on PC and have been distributed for a very long time.
Very long time, yeah. When was the last time a serious PC gamer actually bought a disc?
Yeah, never.
I bet many of them won't remember because of Steam and Origin and even the Microsoft Store now. I mean, nobody buys disc anymore.
No.
And haven't for a long time. That's a console thing, and that's because console people don't understand how things are supposed to work.
Yeah, but we'll have to just wait and see. Let us know what you guys think. Are we moving closer to games as a service? Yes or no? Leave your comments down in the comments section. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to the final segment, because this is where we've reached overtime. Yeah. We're in podcast overtime at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our last segment, give our final thoughts. This is where we pick and choose a handful of stories, just give our final 2 cents on each of them. Boogie, I'll let you go first.
Okay, just as coming out of an update, the Wichita swatted incident, everybody needs to be held accountable. Everybody that was involved, and I'm glad they're going after the other. I thought it was just one, but apparently there's 2 others. So they're going after the 2 others that were involved. They need to get they need to be held accountable.
Right.
If you want to play PS2 games on the PS4, you got to find one that doesn't have that has firmware 4.05. I haven't seen anywhere where you can roll it back. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's cool.
Twitch getting a $1.3 million judgment. That's drops in the bucket for Amazon, but it does set a precedent for other platforms, whether it be Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, or any other of those guys to go after those bot makers. So that's selling likes and follows and views for money.
Right.
The Madden 18 esports event airing on ESPN and Disney XD again. Esports is making it big time. I think I said this either last week or the week before. I see them taking the same trajectory as X Games did. Mm-hmm. It was a curiosity, and then all of a sudden, some big major broadcasters picked it up, and now you got X Games, and you have events in the Olympics, in both Summer and Winter Olympics.
Crazy.
For Honor with dedicated servers. So on February 16th, I will try it out. I will get beat up, and then I'll wait for the next big announcement before I try it out again. February Games with Gold lineup is actually really good. I'm interested. I'm definitely going to be getting all 4 of those games, for matter of fact. Mm-hmm. The Mixer allowing streamers to monetize, again, is something Twitch has been doing, but if they want to be a serious competitor, they have to do it too.
Right.
The Game Pass, we just talked about that. I mean, that announcement... Stellar. Is amazing. Absolutely. Ubisoft, I don't know what you think you're doing with Rainbow Six Siege. Anthem, it's make or break. Either if it's not a hit, BioWare is going to be in huge trouble. Mm-hmm. Maybe Microsoft needs to swoop in somewhere and do something. Paragon getting shut down is not really the news. The news is that Epic is giving full refunds to people that spend money in that game, and that is amazing. Invest in Roller Coaster Tycoon if you want, whatever. The Ghost Recon story, I don't necessarily care about that. The Washington State story with the loot box bill is interesting. I'm going to keep my eye on that to see what comes of that, because, again, that's going to set a precedent. And if they pass any kind of law, it could have an effect on you, whereas companies aren't going to localize per state. That's just going to cost them too much money.
Right.
They're going to have they may have to follow the laws of that whatever Washington comes out with, and that's going to be the law of the land, at least temporarily until the feds jump in. That dude. Migos is not a hip hop and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch on every single story. I'm just going to go down the list here and touch on a couple. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there isn't any legal ways to roll back your PlayStation 4, but you may be able to do so. So if you haven't gotten the most recent updates, the only thing with that is that if you don't get the update, you can't play on PlayStation Plus, can you?
Yeah, I think your PSN you're not going to be able to play.
Yeah, your PS Plus or PSN, won't function properly if you don't get the update. So you won't be playing anything online, and I don't think you can get any game updates if you don't update the firmware as well.
Yeah, I think that's right as well.
Yeah, that might be the case. So I mean, if you're that into PS2 emulation, I mean, I would personally get PC. There's an excellent PS2 emulator on PC. PC, what the fuck is it called? PCS X2. That's what I use when I want to emulate PS2 games, but only games that I already own. Anyway, yeah, the For Honor launch in season 5. I definitely want to try it out. I mean, it's a fun game to play with friends. So like even if we go on and get wrecked, we'll still have a good time. Right. But I do want to, see some of the changes for myself and see if it's something that I can get back into, because in the beginning I was really into that game. It was super fun. So it would be nice to have another kind of like fallback multiplayer game that I can play, because right now I'm not really playing any true like multiplayer games. Like I'm playing Dragon Ball. I'm gonna get into Monster Hunter. And other than that, Overwatch maybe. I have been playing a little bit of Overwatch lately, so I don't know. We'll have to see. The games for gold for this for next month are looking fantastic. I already own 2 out of the 4, but I'm going to download Split Second just so that I can have that on my Xbox One. If that thing is online, I am taking challengers. Like, come see me. I hope and pray that it's online, and I think that I can get my data off of my 360, and that way I can still
cloud saves.
Yeah, the cloud save. Yeah,
you should be there.
Yeah. So in there.
Yeah, there was a 360 game that recently came on. I think it was last year. It came on backwards compatibility. When I went to play, my saves were there.
Yeah. So if it has my cloud saves, we are in there. Come see me in some Split Second. I await the challengers. What else? Anthem being delayed. I mean, that was to be expected. Like we mentioned when we were talking about some of our most anticipated games. It was pretty much known that this was going to get delayed, and I'm not sad about it, because if it means that we're going to get a better product, then I'm all for it. There's enough going on around this game. Being rushed out doesn't need to be a problem that they need to have right now.
Right.
Epic Games shutting down Paragon. I mean, you're getting your money back, dude. Like, this is the first instance of this that have ever witnessed. So it looks like Epic Games is trying to stay on the good side of their consumer base. Right. So whichever project or product they put out next, people will know that they can jump in and maybe not have to worry so much about whether or not they're wasting their time or money. I don't know. They're setting some industry. They're setting the industry on fire with this position here, because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
And man, Atari, get the hell out of here, man. If y'all got so much money with all your IPs, you don't need mines to get Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch. Get out of here with that. I am so done with that. And that's pretty much all I have to say. On the topics that we talked about. I mean, we covered a lot today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this up with our closing remarks. If you're watching this live on either on YouTube or Mixer, on Twitch or on Facebook, we definitely want to thank you. We try to incorporate you guys as much as possible, so make sure that you leave us questions. If you're watching this after the live stream, leave us questions down in the comment section. That way we can get to them in the next episode. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can use hashtag AskAWGNS, and we track that hashtag. So any questions that you guys have for us, they will be spotted, and we will get to them. So make sure that you do that. We are at AWGamingNS on Twitter, a weekly gaming news show on Facebook, or you can just use the call letters AWGNS. We want to reach out to you guys. We want to incorporate you more. So, hit us up. Let us know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions on how to make the show better, we're always up for suggestions. We'll take them into consideration. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, we definitely want to thank you for that. We appreciate you guys taking us on the go. And in case they are wondering, Boogie, why don't you let them know exactly where they can listen to us?
Okay, so we are in the general podcasting directory. So any podcatcher you use, you can search us, a Weekly Gaming News Show or AWGNS. We are in TuneIn Radio. We are on iTunes. We're on Google Play. Head over to iTunes, Google Play, or TuneIn Radio. Leave us some feedback, rate us, let us know what you think. And if you have any suggestions, we'll take a look and take those to heart. Also, because we are on TuneIn Radio, if you have a smart speaker, you can ask your smart speaker to listen to our show.
Yep.
Just say the wake word and say, listen to a Weekly Gaming News on TuneIn Radio, and it will play the most recent episode for you.
Yes.
So hands-free. If you got the barbecue sauce on your fingers, or if you're playing the game, you don't have to sully up your devices.
Yep. I think we can go ahead and end it on that. This has been episode 85 of a Weekly Gaming News Show podcast, and we are your hosts with the most. My name is Trenell.
I'm Todd.
And we will catch you all next week. Peace out.